Tight, unpredictable, unmissable. The Premier League at the moment, especially at the top, it's extremely tight. It has been all season, really. It's starting to gap out a little bit now, though. 6 points now separating first and fourth position. Believe it or not, Manchester United leaders and Liverpool reigning champions down in fourth now. They play Burnley tonight, which is a game they should really win. However, even if they do win, they'll still remain in fourth position. Leicester City and Manchester City above them in third and second respectively on 38 points. So they are 2 points off the top each. And yeah, just a very difficult title race to call, this one. So I'm just going to be sort of analysing it a little bit in this video. So Manchester United went top of the table last night with a 2-1 win over Fulham. Paul Pogba with the winning goal, which was spoken about a lot, and rightly so. He received the ball on the sort of right wing position, I guess, cut in, little dribbling, got past a few players, and then struck it in with the left foot. Angled finish, diagonal strike into the far corner, and it was a brilliant finish by Paul Pogba, and he's really hit some form of late. You know, Burnley, the draw against Liverpool as well, the weekend just gone, and last night against Fulham. In all three of those games, he's been vital. Obviously, got the winning goals against Burnley and last night. And against Liverpool, he had one of the best chances of the match late on. If it weren't for Alisson, then he would have won that game as well for United. So, yeah, he's hit some great form. And I think that's been a very vital sign of Manchester United, why they're doing so well at the moment, because players like Paul Pogba have hit form just at the right time. You look at Eric Bailly as well. Their defence has really shored up of late, and Eric Bailly in particular has been a rock, really. You know, partnering Maguire and even Lindelof at the weekend. It was a bit surprising that he started, but he put in a good shift. Luke Shaw, the left back, he's improved by quite some distance. So United, I think a key reason as to why they're doing so well is their squad individually are performing a lot better at the moment. Let's go on to City in second place. So they won last night as well. They beat Aston Villa by 2-0. Some controversy in that. However, I think it's the law, the offside law. A lot of people don't agree with it, and it was heavily spoken about after last night's match. So they played Villa. They won 2-0 in the end thanks to two late goals. The controversial one coming from Bernardo Silva into the last 15 minutes of the match, and then they got a penalty late on, which was a handball. I know there was some controversy about that as well, but I think that was a penalty. There's no real arguments, in my opinion. So City got the penalty, Gundogan stuck it away, Gundogan I should say, and 2-0 it finished. Leicester, we saw them defeat Chelsea the night before last by 2-0. A very comfortable win for them. I might divulge a little bit more into that in a minute because, as you guys know, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I wasn't very happy about that. But Leicester getting the job done, as I say, quite comfortable for them really. That's as much down to how good they were and how bad Chelsea were. And then it's Liverpool's turn tonight. So as I say, they're playing Burnley, who sit down in 17th position. 4 points off Fulham in 18th. So Fulham, although they have been improving, their three most recent games, Tottenham, Chelsea and United, all teams who have been thereabouts this season. And they did very well. Picked up a point against Spurs. Only just missed out against Chelsea, and to be fair, only just missed out last night as well by against Manchester United. So they're doing very well. Burnley, as I say, though, 17th, back to Liverpool's situation, so they play them tonight, and as I say, even if they get the win, they'll still be in fourth position, but they'll be just 3 points then off top place, having played the same amount of games. City, you'd say, out of those four have the advantage because they have a game in hand on 18 games played at the moment. We won't discuss too much into it because we're just sort of divulging into the top four in this video. But just below Liverpool, we have Tottenham, 1 point below them in fifth. having played the same amount of games. Everton have 2 games in hand on the leaders, so they've played 17 so far on 32. West Ham on 32, played 19. And then we got Chelsea and Southampton each. Well, Chelsea played 19, Southampton played 18, each on 29 points. But I wouldn't write anything off still in this season. It's still very tight, as we know. However, as I said in my sort of opening few sentences, it has started to gap out a little bit now at the top, because it's 6 points the difference. I don't think it has been that I don't think it's been that at all this season, maybe, or if it has, not in a while. So there's the top 4 for you, and Liverpool, as I say, they should win tonight. They've been on the back of a sort of a tricky run themselves. Obviously got the draw against Manchester United at the weekend. They would have been quite disappointed. They play Burnley tonight. So their fans will be hoping they can get back to winning ways and within 3 points then off the top. Right, now I shall go into the games that we've seen this week. I should mention as well, West Ham beat West Brom by 2-1 on Tuesday night. That was a very assured win. West Ham took the lead. West Brom came back to equalise. However, they regained the lead. Mikel Antonio scoring again, and they're looking a very good proposition. I think I said this in the last video with Skanda. They're looking a very tough proposition, up to 7th place, 32 points. So not an awful long away from. Well, they're 2 points off top 4. I mean, that just shows how close it is. And West Ham haven't been in Europe for quite a long time now. I can't remember the last time they were in Europe. But yeah, 2 points off fourth position. Obviously, that could change tonight. But it just goes to show how much they progressed. Yes, so there was that match. West Ham winning. Leicester against Chelsea. Now, I'd like to sort of go into this a little bit more. So there was so many Chelsea fans afterwards just feeling so dejected and lifeless, and I can understand completely why. I was watching the game and Chelsea showed absolutely no fight, no determination. There was no team chemistry. There was no understanding. There was no clue from Chelsea. It was quite possibly, well, I'd put it with Arsenal. I'd put it with the performance they put in against Arsenal. It was the worst performance, joint worst performance of the season from Chelsea. Because, as I say, the other one was against Arsenal when they defeated us 3-1. We got away easily with a 2-0 defeat. I think it flattered Chelsea. It could have easily been more. Leicester was so comfortable. I mean, they never looked in danger. If we were to try and scrape ourselves to mention the Chelsea chances, I can't really name any. There was one penalty incident where it was just outside the box. The right call, I think, was made, and it was a free kick to us. Other than that, there was just no threat at all. And Leicester, they were like playing in third gear. They weren't even at their best by a long shot, and yet they were making us. Well, they were showing us up to be like a mediocre amateur team, probably like sitting down below in the relegation zone or something. It was that comfortable for Leicester. Having said that, Leicester are obviously title contenders themselves. They currently sit in third position, as I was saying, 38 points, 2 points off top. So yeah, they're having a very good season. Obviously, we know Brendan Rodgers, very good manager. He's proven it pretty much everywhere he's been to. He did very well at Swansea, almost won the title at Liverpool. Brilliant job at Celtic, and yeah, he's showing just what he can do at Leicester now. He did last season as well. Obviously, Leicester kind of dropped off towards the end. Ended up getting Europa League instead of Champions League. However, this season, they're third position, 2 points off top. They look very set on getting Champions League, and I think we have to really fear Leicester, to be honest, at the moment, because, as I say, they've got a very good manager, very assured manager. He's got a lot of experience as well. knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a plan, and they've got very talented individuals. I was saying this again in the last video. I'll reference that again. That Leicester, they have a squad who have gelled and bonded so well, and that's why they play so well. And it's made of not too many expensive individuals. You take Jamie Vardy, you take James Maddison, you take Ayuso Perez, take Fofana, James Justin. All these players, they barely cost a penny. I'd say the most expensive player is Yuri Tielemans. I can't remember exactly the fee, but compared to the other players at Leicester, I don't think they cost as much at all, really. So it's astonishing, really, that they are there or thereabouts, and they are considered serious title contenders. So yeah, that's enough about the game. I don't want to go into it too much. I was very disappointed afterwards, speaking from a Chelsea point of view. And obviously afterwards there was understandably a lot of talk about Frank Lampard and a lot of scrutiny coming his way. And I think first and foremost, I just want to say Lampard conducts himself, I think, quite well in interviews. He does very well when speaking to the press and speaking to anyone. Press conferences, just at post-match analysis and stuff. He always speaks, I think, quite well, in my opinion. And he doesn't come across as someone who's under pressure, to be honest. By the way he's speaking, he's very honest. Good assessment. There was talk about him throwing his players under the bus before, but you've got to do that to some extent. You can't just say, every time it's my fault. I'm the manager. I hold my hands up every single time. You've got to be honest about the faults and where they lie. And sometimes it is the players. And I don't understand all this. Like, a manager should protect his players. It's correct to some extent, but not all the time. I think the players are the ones out there on the pitch, not the manager. They're the ones playing football. They're the ones kicking the ball around. If they don't perform, some of the blame at least should go on them. And I think, Frank Lampard's very honest with that, so I respect him for that. But yeah, he got a lot of scrutiny after the match. Obviously, Chelsea, we all know the kind of rut they've been in, and I think they've only won 2 games in 8, I believe, or something. I'm just going to double check that now. But yes, it was very disappointing to see. The goals as well in that match were very disappointing to concede from Chelsea's point of view. And Frank Lampard, I think this was the first time for me that I actually really believed that Lampard would be sacked. He still could be. I mean, we're in Thursday now. This game happened on Tuesday. So they might still be deciding. You never know. But we all know that Roman Abramovich has a history of not giving Chelsea managers time. And yeah, this just goes to that's what makes us worry. It was such a lacklustre performance. There was talk after the game, and it kind of looks like it that the players weren't playing for the manager. That's extremely worrying. They just had their heads down. There was no fight. I cannot pick up a single. Well, actually, I can. I remember the season when we finished 10th or something in 2015-16, and it was the season after we'd won the league, and it was with Mourinho at the start of the season. We eventually changed halfway through, and we got Gus Hiddink in for the remainder of the season. But I remember that season when Chelsea were doing terribly, and they dropped down to mid-table. The only player who was performing was Willian that season, because I remember him scoring a fair amount of goals, more than fair actually. He really excelled. I think it was one of his best seasons in his career. The whole team was really underperforming, but Willian kept things going for Chelsea that season. And compared to now, you look at the team, as I say, I can't pick out a single individual who impressed me or who showed fight. But I can pick out a single individual, but only one, and that's Mason Mount. I do feel that he deserves his credit. I don't know why a lot of people get on his back about things and, slag him off. I don't understand that. I don't know why. I think he's a very talented footballer. He always works. He always tries his best. And for Chelsea and England, I think, he's not a player who just gives his all for his club. He's a player who gives his all for anyone, no matter who he plays for on the pitch. He's always given his all. So yeah, Mason Mount is the only standout from that performance, but all in all, it was a shocking one. I think there's an argument to say that the players were not playing for him, and it's extremely worrying, as I say. We've got players in that squad who aren't good enough to be in a title challenging side, who are good enough for mid-table sides or relegation threatened sides. And we've got players who are seriously underperforming. Werner, of course, Havertz, and not just the new signings. A lot of other players are underperforming. Kovacic at the moment, Reece James. The list is endless. Edouard Mendy, he's really dropped off in recent weeks after coming into the club and initially showing us that he was what Chelsea had been missing. He was the keeper that Chelsea needed, but he's had some very shaky performances lately, and some confidence has been lost in him. Yes, they do need. I know. I'm not just going to stick up for Frank just simply because I'm a Chelsea fan and I love him. I'm not going to do that. People do say that Chelsea still need some time because they brought in so many players and they still need time to gel. They still haven't done that. It's half a season. Timo Werner, Kai Havertz, Edouard Mendy, these players have been here for half a season. I suppose when you put it like that, it's not long at all. However, what baffles me is the fact, after a shaky month or so in the season, first month, we were then doing very well. Went 16 games unbeaten, I think. And yeah, it was a great run. And then all of a sudden we lose at Everton, thanks to a penalty, and our heads just drop, and it just gets worse and worse from there. Defeat to Wolves, defeat to Arsenal, defeat to Man City, which although it was against a very good side, Chelsea again were just so lacklustre in that match. And it could have been more. It could have been more than 3-1. Same goes for the other night against Leicester. So that's what baffles me. How it's just suddenly all turned and it's suddenly gone all sour. I don't understand really why. But it has done. So Chelsea, they need to turn this around. Some point. I personally, there's a lot of talk about obviously Lampard in, Lampard out. I'm going to say Lampard in. I'm not just saying that because he's a Chelsea legend, because I think that's what a lot of Chelsea fans base their opinions on. Well, some obviously, some maybe. Frank Lampard, obviously, Chelsea legend, top scorer in the club's history. And he's, his reputation is high, and a lot of people don't want to see that reputation be crushed anymore. Therefore, maybe that argues the point that he should leave right now. But I don't just want him to stay because of what he's done for Chelsea Football Club. I want him to stay because it's a long shot. Okay, before I explain this point, I will just say that this is a long shot. I understand it. It's never going to happen probably. So I guess I'm kind of in dreamland when I say this, but I'll say it anyway. I want Chelsea to have to change their philosophy and thinking about managers. Because we seem like the only team who haven't done that. We need more of a philosophy like Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool. Give these managers time. Jurgen Klopp was given time to build Liverpool up to where they are now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, through the scrutiny that he's been given, has been given time, and Manchester United are now top of the table. Arsenal, obviously Unai, I suppose Arsenal, not as good as an example as Liverpool, Manchester United, but then again they gave Arsene Wenger 22 years, and Unai Emery didn't get long, but Mikel Arteta, he's also faced scrutiny this season. Arsenal were down, near the relegation zone, and they still kept him. And now look, he's kind of turned it around. They're steadily picking up form. So yeah, that's what I want Chelsea to do. I just want them to give Lampard time, change their philosophy. I think a lot of pundits have been correct in saying that, sometimes when you buy all these players, when you spend that much money, the manager does need time to sort of help them and coach them individually, gel them into the team. And I suppose if you say half a season, it doesn't sound long, does it? So in that respect, he hasn't had much time. But yeah, as I say, I want him to stay because I just want Chelsea to realise that they're building something at this club, and it's not gonna be done overnight. It's gonna take time. Frank Lampard is brought youth through. He's also brought some talented individuals. They need time to, I guess, connect like a puzzle. They need time to connect and gel and move forward together as a cohesive unit. So he needs to be given a chance to do that. And I personally, there are other options. If Lampard was to go, there are other options who I think we could go for. Tuchel, who was the former PSG manager, just naming one example. But I think I would like to see Lampard given more time at Chelsea. I don't want them to do anything rash. However, that's my wishes. My wishes and what the Chelsea board decide to do is a completely different thing. We all know Roman Abramovich's nature. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I think this season has heavily been about teams underperforming and overperforming. Because you take Chelsea, for instance, and they are seriously underperforming now, you'd say, with the amount of money they spent and the amount of players they have in the squad and the experience and the reputations of some of them, and they're underperforming. Whereas last season, I think, with Chelsea being just a team full of younger players and not really too much experience or too much high-profile reputations, they were overperforming, and eventually they secured fourth place. So, last season they were overperforming. This season, at the moment, they're underperforming, but, obviously still a long way to go. Manchester United on the flip side, because I was hearing about, I heard like an argument last night on radio about Manchester United. They haven't spent the amount of money that Chelsea have, and I'm not sure. I don't know the exact figures because I'm not a United fan. I don't really pay attention to the exact figures they spend, but I know they spent quite a lot recently. So I don't know if it's exactly 250 million. However, they have bought a lot, and they were seriously underperforming at the start of the season. Harry Maguire, £80 million centre back, Wan-Bissaka, £50 million right back. I know it was quite a few years ago now, but Paul Pogba, he was another expense, huge expense. I just think that Manchester United, they have spent a lot of money to get to where they are now. Bruno Fernandes, it may not compare to Chelsea. I'm not comparing them, but I'm just saying that United, on the flip side, they were underperforming with the amount of money they'd spent. They were underperforming. United fans can't deny that, seriously, because, as I say, £80 million centre back and a £50 right back, coupled with the rest of the defence, should be doing better. And now we're seeing that. We're seeing they are doing better. It's taken time for them to gel, which is kind of what Chelsea need right now. And they are in a situation where they're top of the table, and they're looking pretty steady, to be honest. Pretty good as a team. It's going to take something special to knock them off the top, I think. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Comment or share this video. It'd be great, hugely appreciated. And thank you for listening. I'll be back very soon with another video from the Top Bins podcast. I'll see you all very soon.